My name is Jacob Smith. I'm in the research group of Peter Weinberger at the TU Wien, the Vienna University of Technology. And basically, I love not only things directly related to my PhD, which is synthetic chemistry, but I'm also very interested in applications of the things that we're making in cities and industry to create more renewable and more sustainable possibilities for our societies to develop. So I'm very interested in this conference here. I came to Vienna 8 years ago. I was originally, not only focused on science, but I was also playing clarinet in the orchestra, and I thought, Vienna is just such a beautiful musical city. It's such a nice place to go to free concerts and go to all kinds of museums, which are, free. A lot of them the first Sunday of the month, and it's just, a big playground, I would say, because it's also a city with a very, very nice level of safety and very cheap public transportation that you can really rely on. And so after coming here, I saw, okay, Vienna's a nice place also to brush up on my German skills, which I had learned already in the US, but I really wanted to take to the next level here. There's also lots and lots of people from all around the world, and also, from Eastern countries, like I was in Bulgaria, and that's such a beautiful place right on the Black Sea and whatnot, and so then I was learning some other languages, like Spanish. I started during the pandemic, and it was just kind of a way to travel while staying in Vienna, but just let my mind go all the way through the rainforest in Colombia, and have some delicious tacos from Mexico that make you cry because they're so spicy, but you really love them. And then I proceeded through some other languages, Italian and French and Russian, and I thought the United Nations is just such a very international place. It really gets a whole slew of different voices, different perspectives and backgrounds together, and I really love just the way that dialogue here is so natural. People are very open, and you can really enter into discussions that you wouldn't have dreamed to be having the honor of participating in. And so I suppose this very international, very dynamic, cosmopolitan component is just fascinating. And then of course, science, I love chemistry, I love just the way that, there's 118 elements that humanity has either found somewhere out in nature or made in reactors. And, I think there's just this beauty of seeing, each element has a certain number of protons, and just looking at a chair, I see, okay, there's the iron, or maybe it's aluminum, and just depending on how many protons there are, it has completely different corrosion properties and melting point. Like aluminum melts at 660 degrees, and iron, let's say 14 or 1500 degrees, so it's, a huge difference in the properties just thinking about, where are the protons, how many electrons does it have, and how does that react, how does that behave? And I think it's just, a fascinating way of looking at the world. Basically, energy is something that we absolutely have to harvest. We definitely have to focus on, building solar panels, wind farms, and geothermal and everything. But that's only the start of the chain. And then the question is, when are we going to use it, and where are we going to use it? And a lot of the time we have a mismatch between the supply and the demand. So basically what we are focusing on is the energy storage. And so there's a lot of different kinds of energy storage. Maybe just two are very important that I would like to speak about right now. There's electrical and thermal energy storage. And electrical energy storage, everybody has it in their phones, they have it in their cars, they have it everywhere, the nice lithium-ion batteries or lead batteries, what have you. And this is a very eloquent method. This is a very elegant and fancy method, but it costs a lot per amount of stored energy. What we have is an alternative only for heat, so it's not going to be able to power a computer, but it is going to be able to heat up your home, and this is what we need in Europe and many, many places in the winter. And so what we've got going on is just very simple energy storage materials, like let's say magnesium chloride is being researched a lot. As chemists, we're trying to come up with new materials that are not, just a simple salt, but maybe we take 3 or 4 different positive ions called cations. We've got potassium and magnesium, and we put them all together and see how it stores energy. The process of energy storage is basically as eco-friendly as the conditions allow. The best idea is if we can have, green energy that's being used, to power the motors and everything, because, inevitably in most systems, you need some kind of fan or some kind of forced conduction in order to get the reactions going. And so if we can have some kind of, green energy that's powering the whole thing, that's of great interest to us. Otherwise, we definitely want to get resources for our salts that are not conflict minerals, that don't have any kind of bad environmental effects. So, while in the laboratory, we're also looking, just at some atoms. We're looking at, how the size of the atom and the ion changes the reaction if we have a big atom or a small atom. But, basically we'd definitely like to stay away from some of the more problematic ones, use less cobalt, use less nickel, use, more magnesium and sodium, things that are very environmentally benign. And I think if we have, researchers who are passionate about it, if we have funding, and if we have, such wonderful conferences and the ability to, really exchange information, just to improve our entire level of efficiency, this will also improve, the environmental balance. So basically, anybody who's planning thermal processes in the industry who wants to be a little bit more efficient, maybe they're trying to either emit less CO2 or save on some kind of environmental program. And basically anybody, like, in Vienna we have a massive district heating system, and people who are working in city projects can also benefit, we hope, maybe already in 5 years, 4 years, from a technology that can store the energy and give it back when it's needed most. So sustainability is very multifaceted. Everybody has to think about lots of different things, but maybe just a couple of the easiest things. We have the reduce, reuse, and recycle is what I learned in school, and as my dad always told me, the most important is to reduce. So you can always think, do I really need to buy a new fill in the blank? And maybe instead of buying a new shirt or something all the way from China, you can see if there's a secondhand shop, or you can have some kind of WhatsApp group or Facebook or Instagram page, and have some kind of trading circle with your friends, because we always think about how much CO2 is emitted when something is produced, but actually a lot of it is on these huge tanker ships that are just belching out huge amounts of CO2 crossing the oceans. So if we can either think local in terms of what things do we already have, what things can our friends give us or family, or what can we find at a second-hand store, instead of going all the way across the ocean to buy it, climate, for your health needs, then if you can, just put on another sweater. And I also like sleeping when it's a lot cooler, 17 degrees, and it's also very healthy for the body. It's the natural rhythm that, we evolved to kind of sleep when it's cold, and so at night if you turn down the heat a little bit, that also helps.